Having high ping in Fortnite is absolutely one of the most frustrating things ever. Feeling like every single thing you build, edit, and even when you shoot, everything's delayed. It's just not a fun or enjoyable way to play the game. So that's why in today's video, I'll be showing you guys a ton of different methods that you can use to get close to or even zero ping in Fortnite. These are going to range from a bunch of in-game settings to some external apps you can use and all sorts of stuff in between. Before we get into it, if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to drop a like and consider subscribing as well if you're new to the channel and you want to see more content just like this in the future. I post an absolute ton of tips and tricks content for Fortnite, ranging from optimization videos like this one to regular tips and tricks like how to piece control and whatnot. So if you're interested in any of that, then be sure to hit that subscribe button. But with that said, and without further ado, let's get into it. So starting off today's video, I actually want to start by talking about a longtime sponsor of the channel, which is NoPing. If you're watching this video, I assume you're trying to get lower ping, and lucky for you, that's exactly what NoPing is here for. What NoPing does in simple terms is it routes your connection through their own private servers, which are close to the Epic Game servers, and in turn, you can see a huge reduction in your ping. As well as that, NoPing does much more than just improve your ping. It also has settings that improve your keyboard response and a boost FPS feature, which optimizes some settings on your PC to make your game run way smoother. Overall, NoPing is a fantastic option for anyone looking to lower their ping significantly and improve their overall performance in Fortnite. If you head to my link in the description or in the pinned comment, you'll be able to check out NoPing and start a free trial. That way you can figure out how much your ping actually improves before you commit to anything. Since you're watching a video about how to get lower ping already, I do think you should definitely check out NoPing. A lot of you guys are going to benefit a ton from it. So once again, you can find the link near the top of the description or in the pinned comment and get your free trial started. As always, a massive thank you to NoPing for sponsoring today's video. And without further ado, let's get into the rest of our methods. So getting into our next method to lower your ping, and this one is going to be to select the correct region. Now I know this is going to seem like total common sense to a lot of you guys, but this is actually something that a lot of people struggle with. A lot of people are simply on the wrong region and end up with like 100 or more ping, so you want to make sure the one you select is the lowest MS in your menu. All you got to do is head to your Fortnite settings, head to the second tab, the little gear icon, and from there you should be able to select your matchmaking region. For some reason in my footage it doesn't actually show me the ping, but generally each region is going to have an MS associated with it, and whichever one is the lowest is the one you're going to want to pick. So for me, I live on the east side of the United States, which means that I'm going to pick NA East, and you'd be very surprised by how many people don't have the correct region selected. If you don't know what your region is, then you can simply select auto or just choose the one with the lowest MS, but this should help you out a lot. Getting into our second method though, and this one is a very simple one, which is to get an Ethernet cable. If you don't already have an Ethernet cable, you're missing out. An Ethernet cable is going to be one of the factors that has the biggest impact on your ping in Fortnite. To put it simply, an Ethernet cable hardwires your device to your router instead of making your connection basically float through the air in your house. It's much more direct and it's way faster than any other way of doing it. Ethernet cables are actually pretty cheap. You can usually find one for around $10 US on Amazon, and you can probably find them in your local stores as well. And for some players, they can basically cut their ping in half using an Ethernet cable. This works whether you're on console or PC, and it can seriously make a massive difference in your ping and make it much more consistent as well. So if you tend to get a lot of packet loss, you get a lot of lag spikes, oftentimes that's not because of your actual device or because of your actual internet. It's just because there's like delays in your Wi-Fi and whatnot. So if you're running on Wi-Fi, you're definitely missing out. And overall, it's a pretty simple method, but getting an Ethernet cable is going to make a massive difference in your ping. Getting into our next method though, and this one is to run a virus scan. If you have malware on your PC, then it can be super hard to tell unless you run a scan, so it's best to do it just to be safe. Running a virus scan only takes around 10 to 20 minutes usually, and it can identify malware that could be reducing your FPS, increasing your input lag, or even increasing your ping. A lot of malware on your PC can actually use up your internet connection and cause you to have way higher ping, which is why I want you to just check and figure out if you have any. All you want to do is head to malwarebytes.com, with bytes spelled B-Y-T-E-S. From there, just run the quick scan and you'll be able to quarantine or delete any files that aren't supposed to be there. If it finds any malware files, you're simply able to delete them and just get rid of them. And if you run into an absolute ton of them, say you run into like 100 or more, then you may want to consider just doing a full factory reset on your device. But overall, running a virus scan is not only good for just the general health of your PC, but it can make an absolute massive difference if you have something that's actually using your internet or lowering your FPS. So once again, it's worth just giving it a shot to see how it turns out. Getting into our next tip though, and this one is to minimize background apps. What I mean by background apps is basically any app that you're using that is not Fortnite. Background apps can use up your internet and lower your FPS, which is why you want to try to minimize them while you're playing. These can include things like YouTube, Discord, Spotify, Google Chrome, and a ton of other ones. To put it simply, these can use some of your internet connection while you're playing and in turn increase your ping. Since your device has other things it's focusing on other than Fortnite, that can actually end up increasing your ping significantly. Also, if your internet has low bandwidth, then this can also apply to other devices. For example, if someone's in the other room watching Netflix or something like that, it's not not reasonable to make them get off if that's the case, but you may be able to get better ping when they're not doing that. That's just because your internet only has a certain capacity, and if multiple devices are streaming multiple different things, then it can cause your ping to go higher. For example, way back in my PS4 days, when my parents would go and watch Netflix in the other room or something like that, my ping would basically shoot up from like 45 to like 200. It was pretty crazy. Now, obviously, you don't want to just go and force people off of their devices, but it's just something to take note of. Another quick tip, which kind of ties into the background apps thing, is to disable startup apps. Startup apps are basically any apps that start as your PC starts. So a lot of apps on their own volition just start up whenever you start up your PC. Sometimes it's because they're important or you need to use them right away, and sometimes they just exist in the background and take up space. So in general, it's best to kind of limit these and see how many you can get rid of. All you got to do is go to your search bar and search up startup apps, and from there you're going to be put on a big page with a ton of different apps. From there you can literally just toggle each one on and off depending on whether or not you need it. They're also going to list the impact level, which can be very helpful to kind of tell which ones are impacting your performance the most. And overall, by disabling some of the startup apps that you don't need, this can definitely help improve your ping and your FPS. But yeah, overall guys, minimizing background apps while you play is super important and something that actually impacts your ping a lot more than you might think. So hopefully using those tips, you should be able to lower it quite a bit. And finally guys, getting into the last part of today's video, and this one is going to be a bit of a bulkier tip, which is the in-game settings. Basically, I just want to hop in Fortnite with you guys and show you guys a couple of the settings that you may want to adjust. So getting into our first setting, and this one is going to be to turn off replays. At least you want to turn off replays whenever you don't actually need them. The reason you want to do this is simply because replays actually download onto your PC, and if you have them disabled, it's going to take up less room on your PC, and it's going to make it so obviously you don't have to use your internet to download them. Now, of course, if you're trying to VOD review your games, you're playing a tournament and you want to look back at it or something like that, then absolutely keep replays on. It's not going to make the biggest difference in the world. But whenever you don't need to have replays on, whenever you have no purpose for them, especially if you don't VOD review or something like that, then you may as well just turn them off. So there's 4 different options for replays, as you can see on screen, and you want to just get rid of all of them. And as always, you can turn them back on whenever you need them. The second one is to turn off auto download high resolution textures. I believe this should be on the first page of your settings, and basically what this does is it automatically downloads the textures in Fortnite that are very high resolution and take up a lot of space. So by turning this off, you can save storage on your PC, use less of your internet while you're playing, and obviously it's going to give you better FPS. Another tip, which is absolutely critical, especially when it comes to input delay, is going to be to make sure your window mode is always full screen. There's 2 other settings which are windowed full screen and windowed, and both of those increase your input delay significantly. Basically, when your game is in full screen, it has a certain level of priority within your PC. Essentially what happens is when it's in full screen, your PC focuses on that game only, whereas if it's on windowed full screen or windowed, your PC basically just looks at it like another app that's running in the background. So overall, it's a bit of a no-brainer. Just set it to full screen and you'll save a lot of time. Since we're in our settings already, I might as well mention a couple of settings that help boost your FPS as well. Although these settings don't directly influence your ping, you can also improve your performance overall by doing FPS boost stuff. Keep in mind that there are an absolute ton of ways to boost FPS, and these are basically just some convenient ones since we're already in our settings. A couple of these you can do are performance mode, turning your overall graphics settings lower, like turning everything to low. You can also turn on low meshes if you're on performance mode, and always turn VSync off. There's no reason to have it on. Believe it or not, your FPS actually does tie into your ping. For example, if you lower your FPS significantly in Fortnite, if you just cap it at a certain point, then you're going to notice your ping actually correlates. Like personally, I play 240 Hz, which is 240 FPS. And if I turn my FPS all the way down to 30 within Fortnite, my ping will literally spike from like 20 to 60. I'm not even kidding. I don't know exactly why this happens. It really doesn't make any sense to me, but for some reason, when your FPS is really low, your ping tends to be pretty high. And just to let you guys know, I do have videos about how to improve your FPS, how to reduce input delay, and all sorts of stuff like that. So feel free to check those out as well if you want to improve your FPS. Obviously, this video is about ping, but improving your FPS does serve the same overall purpose, which is making your game run smoother. So I definitely recommend you give that a shot. But with all that said, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video on how to improve your ping dramatically in Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 2. Hopefully, after watching this video and implementing everything we talked about, you should have at least close to 0 ping, if not 0 ping. Now, as some of you may know, ping is very dependent on location. If you're close to the servers, you're going to get lower ping. If you're super far away, such as in like South Africa or something where no servers are anywhere close, then you're kind of going to be stuck with high ping to some extent. But in this video, I went over all the major methods that should significantly lower your ping no matter what. If you found this video helpful, then be sure to drop a like on it. And if you want to see more content just like this in the future, then be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. And finally, guys, if you want to show some extra support, it's always appreciated if you would use code Teckoh in the item shop. It's 100% free for you and only takes like 5 seconds to type in, and it seriously does help me out a bunch. As always, a massive thank you to everyone who uses it. But with all that said, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.